So, okay, so you're playing Professor Jamal. Talk to me about this character.
Professor Jamal is he's the young professor on campus who's the head of the Muslim Student Association. He's the faculty head of that, and also plays sort of a mentor. I don't know so much of a mentor to Tariq's character. He's more of a mentor on campus, and Tariq doesn't really choose to utilize him in that way. But he's an example to Tariq, which is Evan Ross's character, of a different side of Islam, what it means to be like a an avid Muslim, but yet not so rigid as his father or some of the men he probably came into contact with in the school were.
The political nature of this film, Islam, 9/11, all of that, does it make your character richer when there's sort of political turmoil surrounding them, or is that just something you're drawn to? Or talk to me about that.
Well, I mean, at the time when I got the script, other than September 11th, other than just the general American disdain for Islam, there wasn't like much going on in the media until after we really finished the movie, and then with the mosque, or with the community center being built down at Ground Zero and all that kind of kicked up a little dirt and conversation about Islam in America. But that didn't play as much of a role in me choosing the role as just the story in and of itself. And just, I feel like Professor Jamal and a lot of characters, Nia Long's character and even Evan's character, they show a side of black people that not oftentimes shown on screen. And to have a young black filmmaker who's the writer and director of this decided this is the story he wanted to tell, I had to be a part of it.
Talk to me specifically about that side.
Um,
What side are they showing?
well, one of the sides, for example, like with Nia's character, her character being this kind of empowered, an empowered, strong woman, yet still a Muslim woman. And a lot of times I think Islamic women are shown on screen as being very passive and demure. And here's a woman who, practiced the tenets and follows that and is very much an honest, upstanding Muslim woman, but she's a woman and who speaks up for what she feels is wrong. And me having a lot of a lot of Muslim friends growing up, and my high school girlfriend the whole time was Muslim, and so I was really tight with her family. That to me was the experience that I had with Islam, was watching her family and her mother. And so to me, to have that on screen for the first time, I think is a very powerful thing, and only someone like you who grew up in a household like that could really bring that, to show that honestly on screen. And then for Professor Jamal, like I said, his character being an avid Muslim, but not a rigid kind of Quran-toting, thumping, kind of dude, is big. I mean, being a young black male in America, I come across a lot of Muslims, particularly I came up in a period of time when 5% Nation was just like everywhere. And so a lot of my boys who were 5%ers when I was a teenager have now moved on to being, Sunni Muslims. And these are guys who you just see every day. We hang out, we go to the barbershop, we watch football. Nothing about them suggests, I'm a Muslim and listen to me. They're just regular kind of guys. And so to have them have a voice on screen, on the big screen, I think is very important.
I came up in a time when there were a ton of African Americans who seemed to be drawn into Islam as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, why don't you think that those stories have been told up until this point? Because Islam, I think in America, has a largely Middle Eastern face.
Right.
Not even a white face. Which,
Right.
There's tons in Bosnia and Croatia, Soviet Union, etc.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there's so much mysticism surrounding Islam, even just in every community. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And being that there may not be a lot of Muslims in positions of power in Hollywood, if any, that I know of, that, it prevents the story from being told. I mean, there are so many stories just across the board. I mean, one of the things that I compared this film to when I first read it, and I mentioned this to Q, was there was a film called Better Luck Tomorrow by director Justin Lin, and it was a film about Asian kids in high school and just their lifestyle. And I think about all the Asian kids I went to school with, I didn't know anything about what they did when they went home. Because they come to school and they're like always on top of things. Their grades are always good, and you don't realize that there is like a cultural pressure for them. And this movie dealt with that. It's like we had an opportunity as film watchers to go home with them and see the stresses that they were having. I mean, these guys were having parties, some of them were doing drugs, and yet still coming back with straight A's every day. And it was like, wow, this really opened my eyes to a part of the community that I never even thought of, because they didn't have a voice until that moment. And this is the same thing. I think that Q is kind of a voice for an aspect of Islamic culture that they don't have a voice. They're never being told. Their story's not being told. I think that's a problem with a lot of diverse communities outside of being middle class and white in America. It's almost like Hollywood doesn't care.
Okay, so talk to me about working with this director and this cast and how you got attached to the film.
Well, the director, Q Qasim Basir, he is a guy who I kind of knew from the film festival circuit and just being around Brooklyn. He approached me about it about a year before they went to production. And I read the script once he finally got a draft that he was happy with. And I was like, yeah, let me get on board. And I had to, do a little song and dance. I did like 2 auditions, and then I was able to get on board and be a part of it. And then once that happened, I think they had Evan, or he was looking at Evan at the time, and that to me was really important because that character obviously is the lead guy. He's got to carry the storyline along, and I was kind of wondering who they were going to get. So once they got Evan, it kind of let me know he was serious about making a good film, because Evan is, although very young guy, he's a serious actor, and he's got chops. And so when you attach somebody like that to a project, he's going to only attach other great actors. Like, you're going to get Roger Guinevere Smith to jump on board. You're going to get Danny Glovers. You're going to get Nia Long. You're going to get Summer Bishels. You're going to get these things to happen because we only want to work with good people telling good stories. And so when he did that, I knew it was like, yeah, I got on board the right train.
And are you proud of this role?
Extremely proud of it. Yeah, I've been looking to play kind of like an adult role where I don't have to wield the gun and I'm not cursing at everybody. So it was really refreshing to do this. And he's not like a cornball Herb type of dude either. And I love that. I really love that. Yeah. Like a true New York. Yeah, it's like, he's an intelligent black man, but he's not corny. Right. So yeah, it's like it's either one or the other oftentimes, and this is a good opportunity to showcase both. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Nah, thank you. It was a pleasure.